Millennialsplaining. Millennialsplaining is when we talk to you like you're an idiot, even though we're only 22 years old and we have no idea what we're talking about. We have a strange little inflection, a little bit of an upspeak at the end, and we talk down to you like we're a kindergarten teacher and you're 4. You've heard of mansplaining. I think mansplaining is a myth. Mansplaining is me when I say, the left has too much unity, the right doesn't have enough unity. You can tell that this is my theory and it's what I believe, and I'm prepared for data that contradicts that belief. If I say to you, there are two sides of the political spectrum. On the left, they have a thing called too much unity. On the right, there's a thing called not enough unity. You'd go, who are you, expert pants? They talk like 700-year-olds, 7,000-year-olds. They talk like aliens from the future who are coming down here to lowly earthlings and explaining to us losers what life is. And the crazy thing about all this, by the way, why do you have a hat indoors? Why do they wear hats indoors? So he's got his stupid hat on indoors and his nose that's just begging to be broken and his eyes that are begging to be gouged out. Sorry, I'm getting carried away. And he's coming up with this cockamamie theory that Ebonics is a bona fide language. That's a very weird theory. I think it's a terrible theory. But if you're going to present something that absurd, you might not want to patronize people. You might want to go, wait a minute, hear me out, hear me out. Couldn't you argue that Ebonics is kind of a language? Because at least it's consistent. But no, he's changed it to the acronym AVE, and he's now explaining it to us in his classroom full of stuffed animals. This guy collects Japanese stuffed animals. Oh, look, he's got Totoro. You know who I know who Totoro is? Because my 4-year-old likes those cartoons. All right, go ahead, 4-year-old. Talk to me like you're older than me.
Make sure the mic is on.
Oh, cute little behind the scenes.
African American Vernacular English, also known as Ebonics
or
just Black English.
Also known as Ebonics. You see the way they move their head there? Also known as Ebonics. And I'm deigning to explain this to you, but it's really kind of below me. But anyway, here. By the way, AAVE, below me. Go ahead. Tell me more.
But in this video, I'm just going to refer to it as AVE, because African American Vernacular English takes too long to say. AVE is a variety of language spoken predominantly by the Black community in the United States. It has a number of features that are distinct from General American English, which is the variety that I'm speaking now. AVE has its own sounds, its own vocabulary, and its own grammar.
Yeah, I know!
About the origins of
Who doesn't know
this?
this?
The accepted theory claims that when slaves were brought over from different regions in Africa, they developed their own regional pidgin languages in order to communicate with slavers and each other using English as a base. Within a generation, these pidgins developed into more complex languages called creoles.
I think you're just trying to explain they learned English bad
one variety.
in a fancy way with a nice
being
chart.
surrounded by a majority English-speaking community, this creole
is so
became
tedious,
more and
isn't
more
it?
similar to English, a process called decreolization, until we get to its modern form today. So given this information, it's pretty clear that AVE is not just broken English. It has its own history as a distinct and separate language variety that just happened to become more and more like General American English over time. Usually the way you can tell
what
if
I'm
something
talking
is
about?
broken
Do you hear
English or
that?
not is that there's no consistency in their grammar. And this is something you would see in people learning English as a second language. But AVE has been shown to have its own logical, consistent grammatical rules, and that's how we know that it's not just broken English. For example, AVE lacks a copular verb. In General American English, this would be is. So he is a student. But in AVE, you would just say he a student. This kind of feature is actually super common in languages around the world. It happens in Irish Gaelic, it happens in Russian, and it happens in Japanese.
Stop. I'm getting off at a tangent here, starting to listen to him. But this tone, these millennials, I think it's because we outlawed bullying and then we had illegals do all their jobs, because they no longer understand that they're imperfect. They no longer understand that it's possible that we see them as completely full of shit. Okay, go to the next one. Okay, this guy, this, by the way, is a lesbian trapped in a man's body, a.k.a. me, a.k.a. all straight men. You mean you're a dude with long hair who looks feminine, like, say, David Bowie kind of thing. You're glam. This guy is glam, but he calls himself a lesbian. He's in a relationship with a woman, And he has that exact same tone that we just saw. The same neck gestures and the same sort of, hey, let me just explain this to you because you seem to have a lot of problem understanding the basic things. And then he'll go off about gender and cis and how to talk to trans people. And he doesn't get that when he says all these things, I don't go, oh, thanks, I was trying to know how to talk to trans people. I go, yeah, I know your stupid rules. I think they're bullshit. They're not facts. Watch him talk. Look at his tone.
I think it's best to just reframe your sentence to be more specific to what you're talking about. And please, just don't say transgenderism. Also, feel free to use the word cisgender, or its shortened version, cis. This simply is the opposite of transgender. It's someone whose gender matches the gender they were assigned at birth. So if you're not transgender or genderqueer in any way, you're cisgender. And I think a lot of media reporting would be significantly improved if journalists just learned how to use the word cis. For instance, a lot of studies are done on cis men and cis women, but the findings are usually reported as being applicable to just men and women. A lot of the time, findings that are specific to cis men and cis women do not apply to trans people. So simply adding that little three-letter word in front of men.
So things would be so much easier if the journalists would just adopt my stupid rules and use my terms like two-spirit and cis, and that's all they have to do is listen to me. And this, again, is a perfect example of what political correctness is, which is the upper classes telling the lower classes how to think, how to speak, how to operate. That I used to think that you can't get worse than that. Classism in America. What's more un-American than classism? Importing British hegemony crap. But here we have something even more annoying. We have someone who is below me telling me how to speak. Someone who's younger than me, less intelligent, less informed than me, making up a bunch of crazy rules, making them up, and then being disappointed that we're not taking them.